Good morning, everyone. This is Sean Butner with Start Your Morning with a High Performance Coach, where we help you find more joy, growth, and impact in your lives and your communities so that you can build the life that you want. Now, today we're doing part 4 of a series on how to overcome change fatigue. So, with everything happening in 2020, I just wanted to have a message that, hey, we can figure this out, we can move forward, we can be a little bit more optimistic about how we can handle change, even if we're sick of it. So on Monday we talked about the mindsets you need to help get through any type of big life changes or significant work changes or anything like that. On Tuesday we talked about some energy things you could be doing daily to help you get out of that feeling of dread or overwhelm and kind of lighten the load a bit, and to make sure that you have the energy to make sure that you can have the motivation you need to get done what needs to get done. Yesterday, we talked about being more decisive, how sometimes when there's a lot of change, we don't know what to do next, and we kind of lose our way, and we can spend a lot of energy really trying to figure out the next steps. And today, I'm going to talk about productivity and in more particular, how to continue to feel like we're making meaningful progress when things are kind of chaotic, right? So this is a topic that's really near and dear to my heart because there have been many periods in my life, personally, where I didn't know what the next thing was, right? Growing up, I was told that, hey, you're going to go to college and then you'll have a good job and life will be happy. And so I got my college degrees. And you get into the workplace and you're like, now what? Right? I accomplished the big goal and I have no idea what's coming next. And so that's overwhelming. The shift from a kind of open environment in school where you can manage your own work and you kind of do things on your own time to having constant deadlines that were up, constantly trying to push yourself to figure out how things are working, especially my first job software, right? It all kind of came together and I felt overwhelmed. I was super stressed, didn't know what to do. So essentially, when it came to getting out of that spiral of constantly feeling overwhelmed, having a lot of big life changes, having things change daily on you, like priorities and, the industry, I'll do air quotes, can change a couple of times a day if it's not managed well, or if the people you're working with aren't clear on exactly what they want, which that never happens in software, guys. Let me tell you, everyone knows exactly what they want and exactly how it's going to turn out. So, of course, I'm kidding, right? That's never the case. A lot of it's exploring by doing. So, how do you manage that and still feel like you're making progress? Because there was such a long stint earlier on in my career where I felt like I was just being whipped from this priority to that priority. And I never felt like I was contributing. I never felt like I was making significant progress. And when that happens over time, you start to burn out. So part of the goal of a high performance coach like myself is to help prevent people from burning out. So that's where this is coming from, guys. And it is possible when everything's changing around you to feel like you're still working on the things that are meaningful to you and advancing your life. So, got 4 tips for you to kind of think through. And this is how I've been thinking through it recently for myself, having, a year ago transitioned into my own business. And so I went from knowing, again, all the work, what I need to do, the kind of personal processes and methods that I would use, to trying to figure it all out over again, which is fun when you realize that's what's going on, but it can be really frustrating when you're like, I'm trying all these things and nothing's happening. So the first thing to think about, and again on Instagram you won't see this, it's the BFO, it'll be backwards for you guys, which is the big fuzzy objective, right? Many people are really good at these big fuzzy objectives, like I want to get into the best health of my life. And you need these because these big fuzzy goals are what allow flexibility when all the pieces are moving underneath you, right? So what does that exactly mean? So, for example, if your goal is to get in the best health of your life, but you end up breaking your leg, right? That event that's changed. Sorry, I got caught in my head for a second. When you break your leg, you still have that objective to have the best health of your life, but now you have to heal the leg. So what do? Well, you have to, if you have that big objective, you can change what you were doing to still maintain your health. Maybe focus more on nutrition. Maybe you just, pump up your arms in that case. But that big objective allows you to shift the results that you're doing, which leads me to the second thing, like know what your key results are. So for each big fuzzy objective, say get in the best health, maybe it's being able to do 10 push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups, right? Maybe it's every day I'm running 3 miles, So it's a very, very concrete. A lot of times in industry, it's like the SMART goals. So what are the things you can measure that actually help you achieve the big fuzzy objective, the BFO? So if you break your leg, you might say, well, maybe I can't run anymore, but I could start to do yoga, right? And maybe improving flexibility, I'll shift how I'm going to get to the big fuzzy, the BFO, but I'm still working towards it. So you see how that flexibility is built in when you have the BFO and then your key results matched together. So I hope that's helpful. So the question for you is, what are your 2 or 3 biggest BFOs, and what are the key things that you're measuring to show that you're actually making progress on it? Because you need to know that for this next point, right? The third point I like to call the power hour, right? So when you know what your key results are, you know what your BFO you're chasing, when you get ready for the day, and everything, priorities are changing or whatever, if you can take that first hour you're working or you're doing tasks or you're doing errands or whatever it is in your life to move forward on one of your key results or BFOs, so if you can make movement on that, the rest of the day you could goof off or do all the busy work, all the admin work, all the things that aren't contributing maybe directly towards your goals, and you'll still feel like you're making momentum. And this was a big realization I had in my career, where I'd go in an hour early because nobody would be in. I could focus on the big project that I was working on, move it forward a little bit, and then let the fires of the day kind of dictate how the rest of it went. So, but it was a huge changing point for me because I was less frustrated with all the different shifting that would happen in my day-to-day priorities, or, when there's a big layoff and some of the people you're working with, are not there, and it mucks up timelines and stuff. It can really help you feel like you have a little bit more control of your day. So that's good. The final thing to help you keep productive when things are changing all constantly around you is to just record your progress, right? This is all about celebrating all the work that you've been doing, because it's really easy in the how things change to not realize that you're doing a lot, right? And so many high performers are so hard on themselves and fail to just celebrate, So, or if you feel like you're stuck, this could be a good way to remind yourself that, hey, I'm actually making progress towards what I want. So I had a client recently, this year, who wanted to work on their health, and they're young kids, and they had a chore chart with the stickers, It's funny how in kindergarten, those methods, I think, they're stuck in our heads and they still work when we're grown adults. So for his workouts, he put a calendar out in front where the family could see it, and every day he accomplishes his workout, he gets to put a sticker on the chart. And so he's got family cheering him on. They kind of hey, you haven't had the sticker, what's up with that? And he's like, okay, I'll go do it. But he went from knowing he wanted to work out, knowing how he wanted to work out, but never implementing, never feeling like he was making progress on it, to having this social fun thing with the family that he's, very, very disciplined on every day now, because he gets to put that sticker on the calendar, and it's just as arbitrary as it sounds. But it was that little bit of psychology of having to show the people that he lives with that he's making progress. But then he gets to look at it too and say, man, I have a 4-month streak. I don't want to break that. Oh man, okay, time to go run. So super, super helpful. Okay, guys, that's sad. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Start Your Morning with the Coach. Please do the social media thing, where whether it's sharing, liking, commenting on this post, share it with 5 friends if you would. Get the word out if you think this would be helpful, because it helps me out. And I like doing these free videos, and so the more, the merrier. But go out there, guys. Live with more joy, have more personal growth, and have a greater impact in your communities today. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.